there, my name's Guy. I'm here talking with Norm today about getting great sound in your factory stereo, which is now easier to do than ever thanks to AudioControl. Let's start by talking about, again, what are the key problems with adding onto a factory stereo?
Well, I think everybody agrees that the best value is to add an amp and a sub to the factory stereo to add bass.
Absolutely.
That's missing in every factory stereo, and regardless of the music you listen to, whether it's rock or jazz or classical, again, there's instruments that play low down. So key issues with fixing that problem though are number one, that the factory stereo system, as you turn the volume up, is going to roll the bass off.
Right.
And the factory car manufacturer does that to protect the small amplifiers and the poor quality speakers that are in there so they don't distort.
Absolutely.
The other issue is actually how do we physically interface with the factory stereo, and lots of people are going to hear about an LOC, a line output converter. They're about $20, or if you get a 4-channel one for front and rear, they're about $40. Number one issue is that they have a transformer in them to do what they do, and transformers roll off the bass and they distort really easily. So why would I want to add bass with an interface that rolls off bass? Makes no sense to me.
Absolutely.
So we talked about the AudioControl LCQ1 in a previous issue video.
Yeah, one of those.
One of those. And this overcame those problems. So it had lots of power handling in, up to 400 watts per channel. There's no factory stereo that puts out that, so it will not distort. And it has circuitry in it to automatically correct for that bass roll-off. And then we talked about the LC7i from AudioControl that added the ability to do front-rear fading, or in a more expensive car where they've got tweeters, mids, and a 5-inch subwoofer, if you can call it a subwoofer, in the back. How do I combine those signals so that I can get full range to add an amp to run new front and rear speakers? And the LC7i had multiple inputs to do that. So you could put highs, mids, and low frequencies into the input side and get summed full range out.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's a third problem.
Right. As we move up from just adding a sub to adding mids and tweed amps, we start to come across other issues.
Right. So the other thing the factory's done, not only did they roll the bass off at higher levels, but they've also equalized or adjusted the frequency response coming out of the stock head unit to compensate for the poor quality speakers they put in.
Of course.
And so you're not getting a flat or even frequency response out of the head unit that we're trying to tap into. So how do we fix that? Well, AudioControl came out with an LCQ1. And the LCQ1 has equalizer in it. So you can essentially reverse engineer what the factory has done to that frequency response coming out of the head unit. So if they've boosted 3000 hertz and they've cut 1000 hertz, well, you can do the reverse. You can boost 1000 and cut 3000 and get a flat response.
Excellent. Does it still have those same features, the GTO great turn on?
Yes.
Acubase?
Yes.
Does it have an electronic circuitry to take in 400 watts?
Yes.
What else does it have? Will it?
Well, again, like the LC7i, it has 3 inputs and 3 outputs, so I can either go front, rear, and fade, or I can have highs, mids, and subwoofer frequencies coming in and then have summed output for full range. So, and then the GTO circuit you mentioned already will turn on the amps and turn them off when it senses the music coming in and out, so that's part of interfacing into the factory. It's hard to find a way to turn the amplifier on when it should be, so the GTO circuit will do that, and the Acubase you mentioned will compensate automatically for the bass roll-off as you turn the volume up. So this does almost everything.
Absolutely.
But there's one more thing, but we'll talk about that in the next video.
We'll hold off on that. One of the things I really love about AudioControl is the build quality is phenomenal. They've been doing this for a long time. All of their products have a really high voltage output too.
Yes.
So it's one of the things that if you want to get great sound, if you want your music to sound great, start with a great source.
Absolutely.
This will allow you to add onto any factory stereo an amazing system and get the best possible sound that you can. That's the AudioControl LCQ1.